City Power has warned that it will disconnect power to a number of Johannesburg hospitals. It says defaulting customers and institutions are now delaying the utility's ability to provide services. It comes after it announced that Maxeke Academic Hospital, Helen Joseph Hospital, Coronation Hospital and Baragwanath are among the health institutions that owe over 41 million rand in electricity debt. City Power has been on a revenue collection campaign to recoup some 52 billion from defaulting customers. The Gauteng Health Department says there are a few discrepancies in the amount that's being claimed. Let's unpack this further. We're joined this morning by the spokesperson for Gauteng Health, Motalatale Modiba. It's great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. Are you saying that the figure is not 41 million rand?
Thank you. Look, I think we must upfront say that we do acknowledge the importance of settling our financial obligations, because they do have an impact insofar as service delivery, as well as the local government is concerned, and obviously that has a ripple effect insofar as the services that we need to receive as a health department is concerned, because we depend on electricity, we depend on reliable water supply for us to continue with our operations. We have not disputed in terms of some of the amounts that were owing to the city, but what I think we have clarified yesterday was actually where we are insofar as settling those particular amounts is concerned. I mean, the city, through City Power, did highlight about 6 institutions where they've given certain figures that they say are owing. If you look at Maxeke, for example, there's a figure of about 40 million rand that is being mentioned. And yesterday we had to obviously go through our records and look at the invoices that we've been able to service in the last couple of months. And I can confirm that of that 40 million, we've already paid about over 32 million of that particular 40 million. We're left with 2 invoices of 5.2 million, which is currently being processed, and another one which is now being loaded into the system. Insofar as Helen Joseph is concerned, there was a figure of 13 million that was mentioned. That amount has been fully paid. Between the 7th of August and the 23rd of November, we processed a number of invoices that actually covered that particular amount. So we think that even there, it could be a question of reconciliation, because remember that we get billed by the city, but the service gets provided by City Power. So we pay to the city, and the city would obviously reconcile its books so that in City Power's books, then it can also reflect in terms of that. So at times what we've picked up is that there would be either delays or discrepancies in reconciling those. If you look at the Rahima Musa, which you referred to by its former name, which was Coronation Hospital, there was a debt of about 4 million that was said was being owed. Between 19 and 26 October 2023, we paid about 3 invoices that then settled that particular debt. So similarly there, we suspect that there could have been that delay in terms of some of the amounts reflecting. Southern Hospital, we know that there's a debt of about 2 million, just over 2 million, and another one of about 625,000. I can confirm that the amount of over 2 million is actually currently due for the current pay run, so that it can be paid, while the amount of 625,000, there is a purchase order that is being generated to be able to settle that particular amount. Similarly, if you go to Kisani Bara, the 2.6 million that was mentioned, that is an amount that we consider to be falling under the current amount. So there shouldn't be a dispute there, because as soon as we've received the invoices, those invoices are currently being processed. So there would be those, I suppose, sometimes maybe miscommunication among us in terms of what we have paid, the invoice that have been provided, and the reconciliation of those. But we are certainly not going to run away from whatever that is due to the city, because we do understand the critical importance of, especially us as a government institution, being able to service what we owe to other entities insofar as services that would have been rendered is concerned. And by the way, of the municipalities that we have, it's only in the city of Joburg where we've had these challenges. We don't have the same challenges in Ekurhuleni, we don't have the same challenges in Tshwane, we don't have the same challenges in Sidibeng and in Westland. In Westland, there was one municipality where we had teething problems. We were able to sit down with them, and over a period of time, work out a particular plan. As we speak now, we don't have issues there.
Okay.
All our accounts
Mr. Modiba, can I come in there? Can I come in there?
Yes.
I need to get through a couple of questions that I have for you as well, with my one eye on the clock. So I want to ask you this. You've acknowledged now that obviously you have a duty to pay City Power, and you've acknowledged the knock-on effect that lack of payment or the late payment has on the province, on other customers of City Power, of City Power's ability to do maintenance, and of course on the economy of the province as a whole, right? This knock-on effect just continues. So it sounds from what you've said that the situation is under control for the most part. But what I'd like to know is, how do you get to a bill of 47 million rand that's not paid, or in the case of Charlotte Maxeke, 41 million rand?
No, in Charlotte Maxeke, I've already corrected that. It's not 41 million rand. It was the city indicated that there's about 40 million rand that accumulated over a period of time. I did indicate that there are 6 invoices.
That's the question I'm asking you. How does that amount accumulate over time, whether it's 41 or 40 million?
It's exactly what I've explained, that we have about 6 invoices between April and September 2023 that were paid. That probably there was an issue of reconciling between the department, the city, and City Power. Those invoices were paid April up to September, every month without fail. There were invoices that were being paid, and that's why we were able to then produce that. But we've been paying. Look at our records. We've already paid you between April and September 32 million. What is left is this 5.2 million that is actually on the current pay run. So you would have a situation where we have paid. There's a lag in terms of reconciling, and that's why we are actually having constant meetings with both City Power and City of Joburg, so that we can actually bring both our books on the table and be able to reconcile where there are gaps. Because one of the things that we've also picked up is that we would pay an amount, and then because there's a lag in terms of it reflecting on the other side, you will get invoiced interest on that very same amount that you've paid. And that's where now obviously disputes would arise with particular amounts that are being levied. So it's something that we're currently obviously engaging with both entities, because I think it's something that can be resolved by us being able to exchange notes in terms of looking at who has paid what, who has invoiced on what, so that we don't have this interaction that almost seems like it's taking place through the media instead of us engaging directly.
Right. I mean, it's the last thing that we need, right? An electricity crisis in Gauteng hospitals. We know that the province's hospitals, as it is, are under siege insofar as just basic services is concerned. We've had water shortages in a number of hospitals as well. Surgeries have had to be cancelled or postponed across the board. People's lives have been put in risk. People have to bring their own water into hospital when they are undergoing any kind of procedure. This is not what we need, a water crisis, and then on top of that, an issue with City Power.
Look, I think we've already explained ourselves in terms of where the challenge has been. And you can already see, even from the figure that I've given you, that the current debt that is currently owed is far less. And in fact, it could almost fall under the current debt. So the situation, we do appreciate the drive that City Power is on. Is the correct path in terms of pursuing those that duly owe you. But we think that we have also a responsibility where we think that there are discrepancies to question those, because you would not pay a bill that suddenly comes and it shoots up and you cannot account for. You would also obviously want to inquire as to what is this bill for, when was the consumption, and so forth. So that by the time you pay, you know that you are paying what you've actually consumed. And from our side, and I need to repeat this, there is no issue around settling what we owe to any of the entities that provide services to us. But we have also a responsibility to double check and verify so that we can be able to reconcile, because remember that we also have to account in terms of how we have actually utilized services and how we're actually servicing those particular invoices that we would have received for services that are concerned.
Motalatale Modiba is the spokesperson in Gauteng Health. Let me thank you for your time this morning. It does appear, from what you're telling us certainly, that the situation with City Power and payment of bills from hospitals is under control. It'll be interesting to hear what City Power has to say on that score as well.